Good afternoon. Honorable Governor, West Bengal, Shri Tripathi, Honorable Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, Shri Arjun Meghwalji, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. I consider it a deemed privilege to me for being amidst you on this occasion when you are going to have a global summit with the participations from guests from different parts of the country to discuss on education, and economic development, cost of management, the changes. Sometimes I wonder why the process of changes in India is rather slow. Then it comes to my mind the huge diversity of this country. When I am talking before you just at this moment, in India, in different parts of 3.3 million square kilometers landmass, having a population of 1.3 billion, 130 crores, using 200 languages in their daily lives, practicing 7 religions, having 1800 dialects, 3 major ethnic groups, Caucasians, Dravidians and Mongoloids, yet under one system, one flag, one constitution, one administrative process. From Mizoram to Dwarka, from snow-capped peaks of Himalaya to wave-washed Cape Comorin. We are making changes with this huge diversity. We are not indulging in the flow of blood, rolling the heads to achieve our objective, as very smoothly. Though there was a long turbulent history of 190 years of revolts, fight, pain, anguishness, sacrifices, sweat and blood against the colonial rule. But when the actual moment of change came, we did not part with hatred. We parted company with smile, shaking hands and saying goodbye. This is an unique example of the transfer of power, end of a colonial rule. No other part of the world, in any other country, you would not find this happened. This is the ethos of India. Yes, we must have change. We must have improvement. We must move forward, but not in isolation, not in groups, not in individuals, not in caste or community, but for the entire land masses of India, 130 crore people moving together. And we have shown it is possible. Cost accountants, who are proficient in management, in reducing the cost, and also in accounting the systems, considering what we gain out of what we invest, surely have noticed when we began our tryst with destiny at the midnight of 14th, 15th August 1947, when half of the world was in slumber, India awoke. But at what background? For the last 50 years, India's average economic growth was 1% or less than that. Hardly there was an industrialization. As a young student, and elderly persons like me will bear me, will agree with me that even for writing in a pen, on a piece of paper, the pen was imported, even the ink was imported, hardly any industrial base. And today when we look back, as Mukherjee was very correctly pointing out, that in 1 year alone, in the year 2017, we have made major changes. The last vestige and legacy of the colonial rule, financial year beginning from 1st of April, ending on 31st March, presenting budget on the last working day of February, and waiting for 6 weeks to get the approval of the Parliament, and thereafter to make the allocation to the states and begin the work process. Most important, crucial working season, which in India is from October to April, was wasted, at least in the year of the presentation of budget. It has been changed. From the beginning of the Constitution, we had 3 types of taxations: central government taxes, union taxes, central excise, customs, central sales tax, service tax, series of taxes. State government has sales tax, entertainment tax, octroi duties, state excise duties, and so on and so forth. Adding the transaction cost, a customer had to pay 30 to 40% more than the cost of production of that good and services. And from tomorrow, midnight, when Prime Minister will launch the button, whole India, 130 crores people living in such a vast area, they will come under one taxation system, one nation, one taxation, GST, goods and services taxes, which are dream. From the days of Mr. Jaswant Sinha, who was the finance minister of Vajpayee ji, to my last days in the Ministry of Finance, before I assumed the office of the President, we tried to have this GST. I introduced in 1991 2011. I introduced in 2011 the Constitution Amendment Bill to facilitate the GST, but we could not do it. I thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and all their colleagues whose sincere efforts have brought it. As I told you, the process of India is not abrupt. It is not imposed. Bearing of the transaction, cost of bearing the transaction, both on human resources and material resources, including financial resources. We have believed to change with consent, to take people along with us, to accommodate various opinions, various sets of ideas in the democratic process. That's why India is praised for running the largest functional democracy of the world, because nowhere in the world it is possible that 65% of 800 million people are exercising their votes, pressing the buttons from Himalaya to Cape Comoros, Mizoram to Dwarka, and brought a change for which country was suffering for 30 years, being the victim of frivolous, opportunistic, fragile coalition government. I am not going to the merit of this system or that system. What I am trying to point out, that we are slow but steady. We want to take people with us so that we can become steady. And it has paid us a dividend. If we find that for 30 years of our independence, from 47 to 77, if Indian economy grew just at 3.9% per year, which was the GDP rate, and one of the eminent economists jokingly told that it is Hindu growth rate. But today, when we look back, that it is no longer 350 million people, 35 crores people, but 130 crores people. They are achieving growth at an annual rate of 7.6% for long 10 years. Despite the financial crisis of 2008, Eurozone crisis, which is still lingering, and worldwide slow growth, Indian economy amidst the emerging economy moving with the fastest rate. Therefore, the subject on which the experts will give their opinion in the business session, and I am awaiting for the conclusions of those discussions, surely we will get a new path, a new way. We have recognized those days are gone when people food at India's rate of literacy, it was hardly 21%. Today, if it is 74%, please keep it in mind. Not 1 crore, 2 crores, 3 crores people, but 130 crores. If the life expectancy at birth has increased from 27.6 to more than 67%, it is not accident. It is because of the culmination of a sustained policy providing health services to the people and creating the appropriate infrastructure. Right now, when I am speaking before you, we recognized that education is the alchemy to the nation. If we want to achieve the glorious age, which we had once, not 1 or 2 years, 1 or 2 decades, but over centuries, from 3rd century BC to 12th century AD, almost 1500 years, Indian universities led the world. Mighty intellectual minds in the form of students, teachers, researchers, flocked Indian universities coming from all over the world. Taxila University, old name was Takshashila, English pronunciation it is Takshila, now in Pakistan. That was the confluence of 4 civilizations, Indian, Greek, Persian, Chinese. Nalanda, which is in Bihar, we have restarted. 1500 years they provided high education and played the leading role. Today, recognizing that, just between 2 planned periods, 11th, 12th, 13th, there has been huge development of educational infrastructure in higher education. More than 760 universities, 38,600 colleges, gross educational ratio, GER, more than 21%, base being such a huge population of 130 crores people. Therefore, what we are to do? We are to not only physical expansion, we are not only to provide access to the higher education, it must be affordable, accessible, affordable, and third requirement, it must be quality education. If there is no quality education, which we consider our assets today, demographic dividend, Indian population by 2020 would be at the average age of 49, against the average age of 46 years of Japan, 40 years of China, 47 years of Europe, because we will be able to provide the workforces all over the world. We call it demographic dividend. But for that we require education and skill. If we inject education, inject skill, provide quality education to these huge masses of the working forces, I have no doubt that will bring the real revolution. And for that, the initiatives which have been taken, Make in India, Startup India, Digital India, Clean India, these are appropriate mechanisms and instruments through which we shall have to achieve the object by 2020 we want to have huge skilled manpower. And I do expect by 2022, nearly 500 million skilled manpower will be available in our country. Whole world will be their job market. They will be demanded all over the world. Therefore, education, quality education, entrepreneurship, skilling are most important ingredients of the economic development of the country today. I am grateful to you, Mr. President of Cost Accounts Association, and all your colleagues for inviting me to be present in this inauguration of your global summit and business sessions. I wish you all success. Welcome the delegates from abroad. Wish them a comfortable stay in our land, and wish the institution all success, Godspeed. Go ahead. You will be able to achieve success. There is no doubt. And my best wishes are with you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Hind.